here. All right, let me paint a picture for you. You're scrolling late at night and an ad pops up. It's that thing you've been eyeing for months. A brand new truck, a top-tier laptop, a luxury mattress. The screen glows with perfect images. You click, you configure it just how you want it. You add it to your cart, and then you see it, the price. A number that hits you right in the gut. For $35,000, $4,000, $2,500, that immediate wave of, I can't afford this, washes over you. But then, your eyes drop just an inch lower on the screen. And there it is, the magic words, make it yours for just $589 a month. $89 a month, $0 down, 0% APR. You feel the tension release, your shoulders drop. For less than your phone bill, it's suddenly within reach. It feels manageable. It feels smart. You take a breath, click apply, and feel the thrill of that new thing coming your way. And what if I told you that feeling of relief was the exact moment the trap was set? What if I told you that low monthly payment is a psychological anesthetic numbing you to a financial amputation behavior? What if I told you that this system is mathematically engineered to make you pay double, even triple, the sticker price without ever feeling the bleed? Be patient. This isn't just about taking on debt. This is about a $1 trillion system that has perfected the art of making expensive feel cheap and trapping you in a cycle of payments that steals your future. My name is Bobby, and I spend way too much time thinking about the hidden equations behind everyday decisions, the ones designed to bypass your rational brain. Behavior. If you're someone who has ever felt that relief when you saw a monthly payment you could stomach, or if you've ever justified a bigger purchase because the financing was so easy, or if you've ever looked at your bank account and wondered where all the money goes even though you got a raise, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Behavior, because today we aren't talking about interest rates or credit scores. We are talking about a psychological warfare being waged on your wallet. We're talking about how you are being mathematically manipulated into paying 200% of the price and feeling grateful for the opportunity. Here's the thing about financing. Conventional wisdom tells you it's a tool. They tell you that smart people use other people's money to get what they want, that monthly payments are just the cost of modern life. But that advice ignores a fundamental truth about human psychology. We are terrible at connecting future pain to present pleasure. Brains treat a large one-time cost as a serious threat, but we dismiss a long series of small costs as background noise, and the entire consumer finance industry is built on exploiting that glitch in your hardware. Sides of concept so powerful, it reshaped the entire American economy. They mastered the decoupling effect. Let me take you back to 1919 Detroit, where Henry Ford was king, selling Model Ts like crazy to anyone who could scrape together the cash. But a man named Alfred P. Sloan, the president of General Motors, had a problem. He wanted to sell more cars, fancier cars, but the market of people with $300 in cash, about $5,000 today, was running out. So he looked at a small, struggling subsidiary called General Motors Acceptance Corporation, or GMAC. Their business? Making loans. Sloan had a radical idea. Don't sell the car, sell the monthly payment. GM began advertising cars not for their $300 price tag, but for just $30 down and $30 a month a year. Overnight, the psychological barrier shattered. That huge, scary lump sum was broken into tiny, bite-sized pieces. The pain of purchase was decoupled from the pleasure of the product. People who could never afford a car suddenly could, or rather, they could afford the first payment. Ford, stubbornly clinging to cash sales, watched in horror as his competitors embraced this new model. He called it a moral failure, a debt trap. But by 1926, 75% of all cars were sold on installment plans. GM surged past Ford to become the world's largest automaker. They didn't just sell more cars, they created a new economic operating system. They discovered that if you could hide the total cost and amplify the immediate gratification, you could sell anything. The genie was out of the bottle. The decoupling of desire from cost became the engine of 20th century consumerism. That historical moment gave birth to the phenomenon we're fighting today. The phantom price. The real cost isn't on the sticker, it's in the lifetime of income it consumes. Now you might be thinking, Okay, Bobby, that's a nice story about 1920s cars, but how does that apply to my actual life in 2025? Well, look around you. This dynamic is everywhere. Let's talk about your mattress. You see an ad for a perfect engineered-to-heaven mattress for $2,500 if you gulp. But then, $0 down, 0% APR for 36 months, just $69, $44 a month. You think, that's nothing. I spend more on coffee. So you sign. The payments are auto-deducted. You're 2 years in, your dog tears it. Or you move, or you just see a newer model. You're emotionally done with it, but you're not financially done. You have 12 payments left. If you stop, you wreck your credit. If you keep paying, you're throwing over $800 at a mattress you no longer even want. The real cost wasn't $2,500. It was 36 months of obligation on an item you stopped valuing long before you owned it. Or your phone. The $1,200 flagship isn't sold for $1,200. It's $50 a month for 24 months. They're bundled into your bill. You never feel the phone's true cost, which makes you upgrade like clockwork every 2 years, forever leasing a depreciating slab of glass, never building equity. Behavior, this is in furniture, Pelotons, dental work, HVAC systems. Everything is a monthly subscription to a physical object. This is the phantom price in action. The price you see is a ghost. The real price is your future flexibility sold back to you in monthly installments. Let's perform a brutal audit of a classic 2025 decision. Let's call this person Alex. Alex is driving a paid-off car, sees a new SUV for $35,000, and gets offered $0 down, 6.5% APR, just $589 a month. That seems straightforward. The starting number, what everyone sees, is $35,000. First, there's the interest siphon. This is the fee for the decoupling. For that privilege of not feeling the $35,000 today, you pay the bank. Than 2-month loan at 5% on $35,000 means you pay $7,152, 12 in pure interest. But that's the easy math. We all know about interest. Now we have to subtract the hidden category, the one nobody talks about, black hole. That $589 a month isn't disappearing into the ether, it's being systematically removed from your future investment potential. What if, instead of sending it to the bank, you invested that same $589 every month? Let's be conservative and assume a 7% annual return, which is below the historical stock market average. If you invested $589 a month for those same 6 years, you would not have $42,000. Of a behavior, you would have $2,184. That's the future value of the capital you are sacrificing. So we have to add that lost potential to the cost. The cost is now $42,152, 12 KP, plus $52,184 in lost growth, which brings us to $94,336 in lost growth. But we're not done. Then there's the depreciation guarantee. This SUV, like all cars, is a collapsing asset. It loses about 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. After 1 year of payments, you've paid $7,068, but you still owe about $30,000 on a vehicle now worth only $28,000. You are upside down. Trapped. This doesn't add a dollar figure, but it multiplies risk, creating a liquidity prison. And it gets worse. Then there's the darkest category, the psychological tax, the mental bandwidth of managing the debt, the background stress of that mandatory payment, the fear of missing it if you lose your job. Studies equate chronic financial stress to a 20% effective pay cut on life satisfaction. For someone earning $60,000, that's $12,000 a year in well-being vaporized. So let's add it up for just 1 year of that stress. The sticker price, $35,000, plus interest, $7,152, plus opportunity cost, $52,184, plus 1 year of psychological tax, $12,000. The total lifetime cost of that $35,000 SUV is not $35,000. It is $106,336. That's not a typo. $35,000 actually became $106,336. $36. You paid over 300% of the sticker price. Ew! Think about that for a second, and we haven't even touched on how normalized this has become. According to the New York Fed in 2023, total U.S. auto loan debt has ballooned to $1.6 trillion, with the average loan term hitting a record 70 months. A 2022 study by the Federal Reserve found that 42% of new car buyers had a monthly payment over $600. J.D. Power reported in 2023 that over 95% of new vehicles are financed or leased. Paying cash has become the radical act. This means the system is no longer designed for ownership. It's designed for perpetual payment. The low monthly payment is the bait, and you are the catch. And before you say, "But I need a car," I agree. This isn't about not having a car. It's about the payment method turning a tool into an anchor. Percentage $336. If invested from age 25 to 65, it could grow to over $2 million by retirement. Financing a car is like agreeing to work an extra day every week, but instead of getting paid, you hand that day's wages directly to the bank. This is where it gets really interesting, because the phantom price creates an inescapable cycle. When you finance a depreciating asset, you immediately go upside down. Being upside down forces you to roll that negative equity into your next loan when you want to change cars. That rollover makes your next monthly payment even higher, which traps you in a worse loan, guaranteeing you'll be upside down again. It's like a financial treadmill that speeds up every time you try to step off. You run faster and faster just to stay in the same place of perpetual debt. And here's what really gets me. The auto finance industrial complex relies on this exact cycle. They count on you being allergic to the sticker price. They depend on you extending the loan term to afford more car. They literally budget for your trade-in with negative equity, because that negative equity is what locks you back into their system for another 7-year sentence. When you save up and pay cash for a 3-year-old used car, you become a bad customer for them. But you become the CFO of your own life. The entire industry wants you to focus on the monthly payment because that hides the total cost of ownership. This isn't just bad psychology or bad math. This is predatory. This is designed. This is a scam dressed up as accessibility. Now, I can hear the objections already. Bobby, what about 0% APR financing? That's free money. I'd be stupid not to take it. And look, I get it. That seems reasonable. But first, 0% is almost always baked into a higher sticker price or offered only on slow-moving inventory. More importantly, even at 0%, the decoupling effect is still fully operational. The monthly payment psychologically shrinks the purchase, making you more likely to buy a $45,000 car you would never have bought with a $45,000 check. The trap is in the mental accounting, not just the interest. You might also be thinking, I don't have $35,000 in cash. Financing is my only option. And this is the most powerful objection because it reveals the depth of the trap. The system is made prices so high that financing seems like the only option. But here's the counter. If you can't afford the 3-year-old version of the car in cash, you mathematically cannot afford the new version on payments. You're just agreeing to be poor for longer. The problem isn't needing a car. The problem is believing the newest model on a 7-year loan is the only way to get one. So what do you actually do with this information? How do you escape the trap? Let me give you something practical. Strategy number 1, the reverse loan. Instead of taking a loan from the bank, you make a loan to yourself. It uses the same behavioral principle, small monthly payments, but the destination is your savings account, trees. Here's how to implement it. First, calculate the monthly payment of the thing you want, say $589 for that SUV. Second, open a separate high-yield savings account and name it Car Fund. Third, set up an automatic transfer of $589 into that account every single month, as if you were paying the bank. Fourth, drive your current car into the ground while your fund grows. In 5 years, you'll have over $35,000 plus the interest you earned. Then you walk into a dealership and pay cash. No payment, no interest, total ownership, and you just became the bank. Strategy number 2, the April 10th 20 through. This is your borrowing guardrail if you absolutely must finance. 20% down, a 4-year maximum loan term, and the total monthly payment must be less than 10% of your gross income. Sure. This forces a meaningful down payment, limits interest exposure, and ensures the payment doesn't cripple your budget. Run every deal through this filter, a behavior. If it doesn't pass all three, you walk. It turns emotion into a math problem. Strategy number 3, the depreciation audit. Before any major purchase, research its depreciation curve. Ask one question: what will this be worth in 3 years? If the answer makes you sick, and for most new cars it will, then buy the 3-year-old version now for cash. The biggest shift is psychological. You have to start asking, what's the total cost of ownership, instead of what's the monthly payment? You're not the person with the nice new car. If you are the person with no car payment, that's the real status symbol in 2025. Here's what I want you to do this weekend. Take your largest financed item. Go online, find an amortization calculator, and add up all the interest you will pay over the full life of the loan. Then Google its depreciation. Face that number. The shock you feel will be the most powerful motivator you'll ever have. I want to leave you with one final thought. This isn't really about cars or mattresses or interest rates. It's about the sovereignty of your future time. We thought debt was a tool to get things now, but in reality, it's a claim on your future labor. You are trading your unmade, unknown future decisions for a present-day object. Our grandparents feared debt because the Great Depression showed its risk. We embraced debt because decades of prosperity hid its cost. We traded resilience for convenience. The people who actually thrive financially aren't the ones with the most impressive financed toys. They're the ones with the least amount of required monthly outflow. Their wealth is measured in options, not obligations. You can't out-earn a mindset addicted to monthly payments, but you can out-behavior it. You can recouple the pain and the purchase. You can make cost visible again. You're not broken for feeling relieved by that low monthly payment. You're human, reacting exactly as trillion-dollar marketing departments have engineered you to. This journey is unfair and it's hard because it requires fighting the current of the entire consumer economy. But once you understand the phantom price, once you see the decoupling effect in action, you can step off the treadmill for good. A behavior, you can start buying back pieces of your future freedom, one saved payment at a time. If this video sparked something in you or opened your eyes, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Smash that like button and hit subscribe for more content that challenges how you think about money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.